Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review. So today we're going to be looking at the Wuben H4, and this is a 3-in-1 versatile headlamp. Combines different beams, so you've got a flood beam, a spot beam, also a red LED in there, and it's got a pretty cool design if you ask me. And yeah, I mean, this thing wasn't designed for power, but it does produce a respectable 800 lumens on the highest mode. Plus, you've also got the ability to add in AAA cells as well. So yeah, I think that's a huge bonus. A lot of these lights just don't have the ability to, well, they've got the battery actually sealed in there. So yeah, let's go through a little demo. And one thing I thought I'd show you before I forget is if you press down both of these buttons, you can activate this motion sensor there. So it's here on the front, these two, I guess these little bits there, and it just memorizes whichever mode you're in last. So if you're on the high flood mode, for example, and I'll press the two buttons and it will now memorize that. So it's pretty simple, just like a kind of on-off feature. The two buttons here basically activate the flood and throw lights. So that's the floodlights for about 4000K, and that's the spot beam here. If you press and hold either of them, you get this red LED mode. There's also a few other modes in here, like an SOS and a flashy mode. So in terms of what you get in the box, it's everything that you see here. So you do get this headband, adjustable headband here, and it feels pretty, pretty decent quality for what it is. You do get a rechargeable battery as well. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Looks like, almost reminds me of a camera battery of sorts. 1700 milliamp hours, 3.8 volts, and you've got to close that up like this. And of course, there are a few different colors that we've been offering them in the moment. So you've got this white one here, which might actually be my favorite. And then you've got this tan colored one as well, and a classic black colored one. You do also get a USB-C charging cable and an instruction manual. All right, so here's a little close-up of the Wuben H4, and the first thing I noticed was just how light this thing is. It's only 80 grams with the battery included, and the exterior is pretty much all made of plastic, but the front area here, this kind of colored front area, feels almost rubberized. It extends over these two buttons here as well. But despite that, it doesn't feel cheap, and I like the overall aesthetic, this kind of angular design, which reminds me a bit of Wuben's X series flashlights. And the H4 is rated IP68 and 1.2 meter drop resistant, 2 meter submersible. So that's pretty decent. And yeah, you've got this rotatable design here, so it allows like a 90-degree adjustment. So if you need to point that thing down to look at something that you're working on, and there's a good amount of tension between each like mini pivot point in there as well, so it's not going to move around on your head. And yeah, I think it's just kind of a efficient design. Headband, single strap, nothing going across the top because it's just too light. You're not going to need that. And yeah, you've got this grippy material here inside as well. It's difficult to see, but it's just at the bottom of the band. So that's going to help stop the light from slipping down your head. And you can, of course, remove the band as well and just use this as like a normal handheld flashlight, or you can even use it as a sort of clip light as sorts. So yeah, essentially if you grab it out and maybe clamp it onto something like that, you can get it to hold. For me, I just pop it onto the front of my t-shirt like that, and holds on sufficiently. There are a couple of buttons here that are used to operate the H4. So you've got this one here, and it's more of a recessed button, and there's one there that protrudes a little bit so that you can tell between the flood and the throw. The buttons do require a firm press, so they're definitely not very easy to press down, which is good. And the USB-C port is only located on the battery itself. So you got to take out the battery and then plug the cord in there. And I suppose that's just to increase that water protection. And like I said before, it's great that this light does accept AAA batteries, because a lot of these entry-level headlamps from other companies, they have a lithium-ion battery that's just sealed inside. There's no way you can actually get to it. So looking down the top of the headlamp, you can see this triple LED design and triple TIR lens set up in there. And I'm not sure what the LEDs are. They're not actually listed in the specifications, but there is a plastic lens on the front of this whole setup. I do assume that there is some kind of internal metal heatsink of some sort behind the LEDs as well, seeing as the exterior is all plastic. So let's go through the UI. So basically, I was demoing before, this button here activates the flood mode, and you can just press and hold to just go from low, medium, high. Okay, it does have memory mode. So if you press once, turn off, press on again, it will memorize that. If you press the second button, you get to the spot mode, and again, same thing, low, medium, high, turn off once, one press, turn back on again, like that. And yeah, if you want to activate the red LED mode, just got to press and hold either one of those buttons, and you get to a constant on mode. Press once, get into this kind of beacon mode, and then you've got an SOS mode in there. When the light is on, just the normal spot and flood mode. If you double press any of those buttons, you get this 800 lumen turbo mode as well. And like I was showing you before, if you want to activate the gesture feature, you got to press and hold both of those buttons while the light is on for about 1.5 seconds, and then it will activate it. Okay. The thing is that if you then just deactivate it by just one press like that, the gesture feature doesn't work anymore. So you have to basically press and hold again for 1.5 seconds for it to work again. So some considerations if you're thinking about getting the Wuben H4. The first one is that I wish that they'd added a proper kind of clip or magnet there on the back. This is a kind of system that's pretty common with headlamps that just allows it to rotate. But yeah, some type of proper clip would have made this perfect and more, I guess, comparable to some of the clip lights that are out there at the moment. But yeah, like I said, you can still sort of use the rotating mechanism on the back as a clip. And yeah, I do wish this latch as well here to access the battery was a bit more durable. So as you can see, basically it sort of clips on. You can put, it's like a pull tab where you release it to get into the battery like that. It feels reasonably sturdy, but I think something like a sliding internal lock where you could hold it shut and then latch it across, something like that would have been a bit better. The second consideration is the smaller capacity cell, so it's a 1700 milliamp hour cell. Still, it's not too bad. I mean, you do get a lot of 14500 cells, which are about a 1000 milliamp hour capacity anyhow, and people use those all the time as headlamps. But yeah, you're not going to get the longer run times as, say, those larger 18650 headlamps, and it's also not a lumen monster either at 800 lumens, which is kind of an expected trade-off for portability, the kind of build of this thing. And yeah, for that reason also, I think the H4 is best suited for short to medium range sessions rather than all day work, unless you leave it on the low to medium modes where you get a lot better runtime. The fourth consideration is the plastic build. It's not as durable as aluminium, and it's also not a good heat conductor. So Wuben have programmed in a conservative step down for the turbo and high mode. So it does step down pretty quickly. The final consideration is that there's no electronic lock on this thing. I wish you could just hold down a button, maybe 5 seconds or something like that, and it locks. But yeah, the only way to stop it from accidentally turning on, if you're really worried about that, is to actually open it up and remove the battery. Overall, the Wuben H4 offers excellent value if you're looking for a lightweight, easy to use and versatile headlamp. And I like the flood, spot and red modes, which makes it adaptable to different situations. And it's also fantastic that it accepts AAA cells as well. I've seen too many of those headlamps, like I said before, just popping up these days with batteries that are internally sealed. So yeah, if you don't mind the plastic construction, lower output, I think this is also a great long-term option. But what do you guys think of the Wuben H4? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you have questions as well, comment below and I'll get back to you. If you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, do me a big favor, click the like button and share the video with someone who might be interested. Just helps me to get the channel out to more people. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the latest flashlight news, make sure you subscribe. Wuben H4, and this is on the flood mode, and we can go low, medium, high, low, medium, high. Decent amount of light here. There's a bit of ambient light in the background, but yeah, as you can see, there's not much throw in there. Probably just tints that tree right in the center. That's about it. Now let's go onto this spot mode, so you can see it's a little bit better now. Low, medium, high, low, medium, high, and that tree is for the most part illuminated. It's cooler kind of light. And if I double press and get the turbo, spot plus flood, like a ton of light. I'll go for a bit of a walk and then do each mode separately as well. And there is also a red mode, as you can see here. Yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of flood. It's just mostly kind of like this throwy beam, if you can even call it a throwy beam. But it's still okay to use up close because it's not, yeah, it's not white light, which is quite irritating. Red light I can deal with. Yeah, I guess the red light, I mean this thing you could use as a walking light, but again, because there's just not much spill on it, you can't really see into your peripherals. It's all just like a spot in the ground really.